The prison was quiet except for the soft hum of the energy shields. Deep inside, in a large cell made of thick, glowing metal, the dragon paced back and forth. Its scales shone like molten silver, and its eyes glowed bright amber, full of anger. No one dared come near him. Soldiers, scientists, and guards all kept their distance, whispering rumors about the dragon's past. Some said he had destroyed entire fleets. Others said he could burn a city in minutes. Everyone feared him, and the dragon seemed to enjoy being feared. He growled low in his throat, shaking the walls with every step. His claws clicked on the metal floor, leaving small sparks with each movement. He had been here for years, locked away in this cell that stretched far above his head. The only sounds were the hum of energy barriers and the occasional clink of chains that held the reinforced gates. Outside, the guards watched carefully, keeping their distance. No one wanted to be the first to make a mistake. Yet today something unusual happened. A small figure approached the heavy gates. Lena, a little human girl, stepped cautiously across the wide, metallic floor. She carried nothing but a small holographic photo of a man in a uniform. Her eyes were wide with curiosity, and she did not show any fear. Guards noticed her immediately and tensed, expecting screams, panic, or chaos. But Lena only walked forward slowly, her eyes fixed on the massive dragon. The dragon stopped pacing when he noticed her. His amber eyes narrowed and steam hissed from his nostrils. He tilted his enormous head, studying this tiny human who dared to approach him. He growled softly, a warning that usually sent people running. But Lena did not move back. She took another small step and held up the holographic photo. "Dad?" she asked in a soft voice. The dragon froze. The word was strange. No one had ever called him that. The sound of it was unfamiliar, gentle, and somehow comforting. He tilted his head again, blinking slowly as if he did not understand. The guards gasped quietly, unsure if they had heard correctly. The dragon snorted, a puff of hot air that made the metal walls shiver, but still, Lena did not run. She smiled. Lena took another step closer. She waved the small photo in front of her, showing a human man with kind eyes and a warm smile. "You look like him," she said quietly. "I think you're my dad." The dragon blinked slowly. His massive tail thumped against the floor, leaving a small dent. For a moment, all anger left his eyes. He stared at the little human, confused. He had been alone for so long. He had been feared, hated, and imprisoned. No one had ever tried to reach him like this. No one had ever spoken to him with kindness. The guards whispered nervously. She can't survive this," one of them said, gripping his rifle tightly. The dragon's massive head lowered slightly, studying Lena. He sniffed the air around her. She smelled of human warmth, curiosity, and innocence. She smelled nothing like fear or weapons or betrayal. He took a cautious step forward, careful not to crush anything. Lena smiled and held her hand out. "See? I'm not afraid," she said. The dragon paused, uncertain. Slowly, he lowered his massive claw and placed it gently on the floor near her, not to attack, but to test. Lena giggled softly, moving her hand closer to the dragon's claw. She could feel the warmth of him, the quiet power restrained under the energy barriers. He was strong, bigger than anything she had ever imagined, but he was also careful. The guards shifted nervously. "Step back," one shouted, but Lena shook her head. She did not move. The dragon let out a low rumble that vibrated through the walls. It was not a roar of anger. It was a sound of confusion, curiosity, and something new, connection. He had not felt this in many years. Slowly, he lowered his massive head closer to Lena. She reached up, touching the tip of his snout. His scales were smooth and warm. The dragon blinked, the amber fire in his eyes softening. "Dad," Lena repeated. Her voice was small but filled with hope. The dragon paused, then made a gentle sound like a hum. No one had ever heard him make that sound before. It was almost like he was responding. Almost like he was trying to understand. Lena smiled wider, and the dragon's tail thumped softly against the floor, almost like a heartbeat. For the first time in years, the dragon did not feel alone. The guards watched silently, unsure what to do. This little human girl had done what no one else could. She had reached him. She had called him something that made him stop being just a monster, something that made him remember a part of himself he had long forgotten. The dragon lowered his head fully, keeping his eyes on Lena. She laughed softly and touched his nose again. "I'll come back tomorrow," she said. "We can talk more. You don't have to be alone." The dragon stayed still, listening to her words. Something inside him shifted. The anger, the fear, the rage, all of it did not disappear, but it softened. Lena turned and skipped away, leaving the dragon staring after her. He did not roar. He did not move. For the first time in a long time he felt something that no one had given him in years: hope. And somewhere deep inside he realized he wanted to see this little human girl again. The next day, Lena returned to the galactic prison. She walked confidently through the long metallic hallways, her small boots echoing softly against the polished floors. The guards looked at her with surprise, then quickly frowned. They whispered among themselves, wondering why she came back. No one dared approach the dragon again, yet here she was. Lena held the small holographic photo tightly, her eyes shining with determination. Inside the dragon's cell he paced again. His massive claws clicked against the metal floor, and his tail thumped heavily, sending small vibrations through the walls. His amber eyes glowed like embers, and he stopped occasionally to sniff the air, sensing something unusual. He sensed Lena approaching before he saw her. Something about her was different from the humans and aliens he had known. She was small, gentle, fearless, and somehow familiar. When Lena stepped in front of the cell, the dragon froze. He blinked, tilting his enormous head. She smiled up at him. "Hello, Dad," she said softly. The word caused a ripple through the dragon's mind. He had not expected her to say it again. He lowered his head slightly as if trying to understand. Lena took a careful step closer. "I brought you a story today," she said. "Do you want to hear it?" The dragon tilted his head, the tip of his nose hovering near the energy barrier. He let out a low rumble, a sound that seemed almost like curiosity. Lena smiled and sat on the floor cross-legged as close as she could get. "Once upon a time," she began, "there was a brave dragon who was stronger than anyone in the galaxy. But one day he was taken away and locked inside a big cold cell. Everyone was afraid of him. They didn't understand him. But there was one little girl who wasn't afraid. She believed he was more than just a monster. She believed he had a heart that could love." The dragon tilted his head, blinking slowly. The rumbling sound in his throat deepened, like a purr mixed with confusion. Lena continued, describing small adventures, stars and faraway galaxies, and tiny animals she had imagined that lived on planets the dragon had never seen. She spoke softly, but each word seemed to reach the dragon in a way no one else ever had. The guards watched from a distance, whispering in disbelief. "How is she still alive?" one said. "Why hasn't he attacked her?" Another guard shook his head. "I don't know, she must be special." The dragon shifted his massive body slowly, not aggressively but carefully, moving closer to the wall where Lena sat. He sniffed the air again, the warmth from her small body reaching him. He lowered his head closer, and Lena stretched out her tiny hand. She touched the tip of his snout gently. The dragon's eyes widened slightly, and a soft vibration left his chest, a sound he had never made before. "You're listening," Lena said softly, smiling. "I know you are. You can hear me, can't you?" The dragon let out a low, humming rumble. It was not a roar of anger. It was a sound of attention, of focus, and, somehow, of understanding. Lena's heart raced with joy. She reached out again, brushing a finger along the dragon's large nose. "I'm not afraid of you," she said. "I want to be your friend. I want to help you. We can be a family, you and me." The dragon's massive wings twitched slightly. He had been alone for years. Every moment of his life had been fear, rage, and solitude. No one had ever offered friendship or trust or love. Lena's words, her courage, and her innocence touched something deep inside him. Slowly, he lowered his head even more, the tip of his snout almost touching her shoulder. Lena laughed softly, feeling the warmth radiating from him. The guards shifted nervously. "Step back," one whispered. But the dragon did not attack. He only watched, curious and careful, as Lena spoke to him like he was not a monster. She told him about her home, her small garden, and the stars she liked to watch at night. She told him she wanted him to see the galaxy someday, to fly among the stars. The dragon blinked and something inside him stirred. Memories of freedom, of flying above planets, of feeling the wind across his scales came back. He had been taken away from all of that, locked in this cell for what felt like a lifetime. But now he felt a spark of something new. Something he had not felt in centuries: hope. Lena smiled up at him. "I'll come back tomorrow," she said. "We can talk again. You don't have to be alone. You can trust me." The dragon lowered his massive head completely, resting it near the floor, his amber eyes fixed on Lena. He did not move, but he did not leave either. The hum of his body vibrated slowly, like a heartbeat in sync with hers. For the first time in many years he felt understood. He felt safe. And he felt something he never expected: love. The guards, watching in awe, whispered among themselves. "I've never seen him like this," one said quietly. "It's like she's calming him. Like she's changing him." Lena laughed softly, brushing her hand along the dragon's scales once more. "Good night, Dad," she said. Then she stood and waved as she left the cell. The dragon watched her go, his massive body still, but his mind alive with thoughts he had not dared to have in centuries. For the first time he realized that maybe, just maybe, he did not have to be alone forever. The days passed quickly, but Lena returned to the prison every day without fear. She knew the dragon waited for her, just as she waited for him. Each time she arrived, the guards watched silently, unsure what to do. Some still whispered that she would be hurt. Some wondered how the dragon, who could crush metal walls with a single swipe, had not harmed her yet. But Lena was not afraid, and the dragon, slowly, was learning to trust her. Inside the cell, the dragon paced at first the way he always did. His amber eyes followed her carefully, but the anger in his gaze had softened. Lena knelt on the floor and began talking as she always did. She told him stories of distant planets, of shining stars and swirling galaxies. She spoke of small adventures, of creatures she had imagined, and of the life she hoped to share with him someday. The dragon listened quietly. His massive head lowered closer each time she spoke, and he even shifted his great claws gently on the floor to stay near her. Sometimes he let out a low hum, a vibration that traveled through the cell walls. Lena smiled every time she heard it. "That means you're listening," she said softly. "I know you are." The guards exchanged worried glances. "She's crazy," one whispered. "No one survives near him for long. Why is she still alive?" But Lena paid no attention. She focused on the dragon, reaching out to touch the tip of his snout. "You don't have to be angry anymore," she said. "You don't have to be alone." The dragon blinked, a slow and careful movement. He had never heard such gentle words directed at him. All his life he had been feared, hated, and avoided. This little human girl was different. She did not fear him. She did not want to control him or hurt him. She wanted to understand him. That thought alone made him pause, and something inside his massive chest shifted. One afternoon, Lena noticed something near the back of the cell, a small maintenance panel partially hidden behind the shadows. She ran her fingers along the edges, her eyes lighting up with excitement. Maybe I can help you," she whispered. "I think there might be a way for you to see the stars again." The dragon lowered his massive head closer to her, tilting it as if he understood her words. Lena pointed to the panel. "It's a tunnel," she said. "A hidden passage. If we can open it, you can move out without anyone seeing." She smiled up at him. "But we have to be very careful. We cannot make a mistake." The dragon let out a soft rumble, which Lena took as agreement. Every day after that she returned, studying the panel, examining its locks and wires. The guards began to notice her strange focus, but she always smiled and waved, pretending she was only visiting the dragon. Only the dragon knew the truth. He watched her work, curious and cautious, letting her move closer to the panel without aggression. Lena began talking to him about the escape. "We don't need to fight anyone," she said. "We just need to be smart. You can follow my lead and we can get out together." The dragon listened, tilting his massive head, and even tapped his claw on the floor once as if agreeing. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing day. The dragon no longer paced angrily. Instead he stayed near Lena, listening, learning, and even resting beside her. He had begun to trust her completely, something no one else had ever achieved. Lena's courage and kindness were breaking the walls of his anger more than any prison could. One evening, as the sun of a distant planet set outside the tall windows of the facility, Lena whispered softly, "Tomorrow we try it. Are you ready?" The dragon lowered his head, his amber eyes glowing with a soft light. He exhaled a long, warm breath, and the vibration of it felt like a promise. He was ready. The next day, Lena approached the maintenance panel again. The dragon stayed calm, letting her work. She twisted wires carefully, pushed small levers, and watched the locks click open one by one. The guards were distracted by a security alert in another sector, and Lena whispered to the dragon, "It's time." The dragon moved slowly, stepping into the small tunnel that led away from his cell. He had to crouch to fit, but he did so carefully, making sure not to hurt Lena or the walls. Lena held his massive claw with her tiny hand, leading him forward. The tunnel smelled of metal and oil, but Lena did not mind. She had planned every step. The dragon's heartbeat, a low and steady rumble, echoed through the walls, comforting her as they moved. When they reached the end of the tunnel, a bright light from the open sky greeted them. For the first time in years, the dragon saw the stars without bars or metal around him. Lena laughed with joy. "We did it," she said. "You're free." The dragon exhaled a deep, long breath, lifting his massive wings and feeling the wind brush against his scales. He turned his amber eyes toward Lena, and for the first time he did not feel anger or fear. He felt gratitude, trust, and something more, connection. Lena smiled, touching his snout once more. "We'll be together," she whispered. "Always." The dragon's low rumble vibrated with agreement. Together they looked at the endless galaxy before them, ready for new adventures. The day of the escape had finally come. Lena's heart beat fast as she approached the dragon's cell. She carried nothing but her small tools, a holographic map of the facility, and her endless courage. The guards glanced at her nervously, whispering among themselves. No one understood why she returned every day, why she had earned the dragon's trust, or why she seemed so fearless. Inside the cell the dragon waited. His massive form filled the space, but his amber eyes softened as he saw Lena. The anger that had once consumed him was mostly gone. He lowered his head slightly in greeting. Lena smiled. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. The dragon rumbled in response, a low vibration that felt like a heartbeat. Lena nodded and moved toward the hidden maintenance tunnel she had discovered earlier. "We have to be careful," she whispered. "The tunnel is narrow and there are guards nearby. Follow my lead." The dragon tilted his head, listening closely. Lena worked quickly to unlock the panel, twisting wires and pressing small buttons. The locks clicked open one by one. The dragon stayed perfectly still, his massive body filling the cell but not pressing against her. He trusted her completely and she knew it. She smiled and whispered, "Almost there." The first part of the tunnel was dark, but Lena held a small glowing orb that lit their path. The dragon followed closely, crouching to fit. His claws scraped lightly against the metal floor, but he moved carefully, trying not to make too much noise. Lena held his massive claw in her tiny hand, feeling the warmth and strength beneath her fingers. Suddenly, alarms blared somewhere in the facility. Red lights flashed and distant footsteps echoed through the hallways. Lena froze for a moment, her heart racing. She whispered, "Stay calm. You can do this. We just need to move fast." The dragon's eyes glowed brighter and he let out a low, steady hum. Together they continued down the tunnel, faster now but still careful. At one corner of the tunnel, a guard appeared. He had not expected anyone in this area. Lena held up her hand, signaling the dragon to stop. The dragon froze, blending his massive shadow into the tunnel walls. The guard paused, looking around, confused. Lena gently pressed the dragon's claw. He lowered his head slightly, making himself appear smaller than he really was. The guard shook his head and walked away, unaware that the largest creature in the galaxy was just inches away. Lena exhaled softly and whispered, "Good job." They reached the exit of the tunnel. The dragon hesitated for a moment, sensing the open space beyond the metal doors. Lena stepped forward, holding her hand out. "You can do it. The stars are waiting." The dragon took a deep breath, then moved carefully into the open air. The sunlight hit his scales, making them shine like silver fire. He stretched his massive wings slowly, feeling the wind for the first time in years. Lena climbed onto his back, gripping him carefully. "Hold on," she said softly. The dragon crouched briefly, then leaped into the sky. Metal walls and alarms shrank beneath them as they soared higher and higher. The guards looked up, shouting, but there was nothing they could do. The dragon was too fast, too powerful, and this time he had a friend to guide him. As they flew over the facility, Lena laughed with joy. "We did it," she said. The dragon rumbled softly, a sound of agreement. He looked down at the world below, feeling free for the first time in decades. Lena stroked his scales, feeling the warmth and strength that had frightened so many. "You're safe now," she whispered. "No one can hurt you anymore." They reached a quiet canyon far from the facility. The dragon landed gently, folding his massive wings. Lena slid off his back, smiling up at him. He lowered his head close to her, letting her touch his nose. "I knew you could do it," she said. "We make a good team." The dragon rumbled again, a deep, happy sound that vibrated through the ground. Lena looked around, imagining the adventures they could have together. She pointed to the distant mountains and the open sky. "One day we'll explore all of it," she said. "We'll see the stars, visit new planets, and maybe even meet other dragons and humans. But today we rest. You've been through so much." The dragon crouched beside her, resting his massive head on the ground. His amber eyes glowed softly, watching the sunset. Lena sat next to him, feeling the strength and warmth radiating from him. "You're not alone anymore," she said. "We're a family now. And no one can take that away." For the first time in many years, the dragon felt something he had not dared to feel: trust, safety, and love. Lena's bravery had shown him a world beyond rage and fear. She had broken the walls around his heart. And now, flying through the sky, escaping the prison, he understood what it meant to be free. Lena yawned, leaning against the dragon's side. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "we explore. We learn. We see the galaxy." The dragon rumbled again, a low, happy vibration. He had waited centuries for someone to believe in him, and now he had Lena. Together they were unstoppable. The stars began to appear in the sky, glittering like diamonds on black velvet. The dragon lifted his wings slightly, testing the wind. Lena smiled. "The galaxy is ours," she whispered. And for the first time the dragon believed it. The dragon and Lena flew high above the planet, leaving the prison far behind. The wind rushed past them, and the stars began to sparkle in the darkening sky. Lena clung carefully to his scales, laughing as the dragon twisted and soared, feeling the freedom he had not known in decades. His massive wings cut through the air, strong and steady, carrying them both toward a future full of unknown adventures. For the first time in centuries, the dragon felt truly free. No chains, no walls, no guards, only the open galaxy and a little human girl who had called him Dad. Lena looked up at him, her eyes wide with wonder. "Look at the stars," she said. "They're so beautiful. Just like you said." The dragon lowered his massive head to look at her, blinking slowly. He had spent so long being feared, being alone, that he had forgotten what it felt like to share a moment like this. Now, with Lena beside him, he felt something he had never felt before: belonging. Her courage had changed him. Her kindness had broken through his rage. And her trust had taught him that he could be more than a weapon of destruction. He could be a father, a protector, and a friend. They flew across mountains, oceans, and forests, seeing the galaxy in ways the dragon had only dreamed of. Planets glimmered below them, and Lena pointed to each one excitedly. "Do you see that? Maybe one day we can go there." The dragon rumbled softly, agreeing, a sound that vibrated through the air and into Lena's bones. She giggled, hugging his scales tightly. As night fell, they found a quiet valley on a distant planet, surrounded by tall, glowing trees. The dragon landed gently, folding his wings. Lena slid off his back and ran toward the soft grass, her laughter echoing across the valley. The dragon followed slowly, careful not to crush anything, and lay down beside her. He watched the twin moons rise in the sky, reflecting in his amber eyes. "You're safe now," Lena whispered, touching his nose. "No one can hurt you anymore. We'll protect each other." The dragon exhaled a warm breath, sending small waves of heat across the ground. He had never known such peace. He had never been trusted like this. And yet, here he was, beside a small human girl who had risked everything to reach him. Lena looked around the valley, imagining the life they could have together. "We can build a home here," she said. "You can sleep under the stars, I can learn about the plants, and we can watch the moons every night. And when we're ready, we can explore the galaxy." The dragon tilted his head, studying her words. He liked the idea. He liked the thought of a life beyond rage and solitude, a life filled with trust and love. Suddenly, a distant sound reached them, a faint signal from the prison facility. The guards, or perhaps someone who wanted to capture the dragon again, were looking for them. Lena's eyes widened. "We need to be careful," she said. "But don't worry. We can handle it together." The dragon rumbled, a deep and steady sound, as if promising that he would protect her no matter what. Over the next few days, Lena and the dragon explored the planet. She climbed onto his back as he glided over forests and rivers. He learned to trust her completely, following her lead and understanding her signals. They discovered small creatures, strange glowing plants, and rivers that reflected the twin moons perfectly. Lena laughed constantly, pointing out everything she found. And the dragon, once feared by the galaxy, began to see the world in a new light, through her eyes full of curiosity and wonder. One evening, as the sky filled with thousands of stars, Lena climbed onto the dragon's back once more. "The galaxy is huge," she said softly. "There are so many places to see, so many adventures waiting. And now we can go anywhere together." The dragon exhaled, spreading his wings. The wind brushed against his scales, carrying the scent of freedom and hope. Lena hugged him tightly. "I'm glad I found you," she whispered. The dragon lowered his massive head, letting her rest against him. For the first time he understood what it meant to be more than a weapon, more than a creature of fear. He understood what it meant to have a family. Lena had given him that gift and he would protect it with all his strength. The stars sparkled above them, endless and bright, as if celebrating their bond. From that night forward, Lena and the dragon traveled together. They visited distant planets, saw alien civilizations, and faced challenges that required courage, intelligence, and trust. But through every adventure their bond grew stronger. The galaxy, once a place of fear and imprisonment for the dragon, became a place of wonder, guided by the bravery of a little human girl who had called him Dad. And in the quiet moments, when they rested beneath the stars or flew over glowing valleys, the dragon would remember the days of anger and solitude. But he would no longer feel fear. He had found trust, friendship, and family. And for the first time in his long life, he knew that he was not alone. Lena smiled up at him one evening as they watched the sun rise over a distant planet. "We can go anywhere," she whispered. "The galaxy is ours." The dragon rumbled, a low, warm sound, and lifted his wings. Together, they soared into the endless sky, ready for whatever awaited them. New beginnings had arrived, and the adventure of their lives had only just begun.